Good evening, ladies, gentlefers, and my lovely NBs. We are here live in Queens at Rutgers Stadium as we get to go ahead and see the Queens Pride go up against the Las Vegas Wildcards. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Marcus. Thanks for asking. We have an interesting matchup here tonight. You wouldn't be able to tell between the two jerseys, but these are two different teams.
Yep, like both teams are kind of rocking the same primary gold color um within their skill sets, but yes, both teams are kind of dealing with different situations here as uh the Queens are still kind of in a little bit of a rebuild mode for the past few years, and the season hasn't gone the way that you would probably want them to see if they could go a step ahead in their rebuild, but no one's really expecting much of them this year. Meanwhile, on the other side, when it comes to Las Vegas, they are doing everything they can to make it to the playoffs this year.
Yes, they're battling in a redistributed West that they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves in their new division, uh, looking to challenge the top of the conference to hopefully get home court advantage in the playoffs. Last season some people called their run a bit of a fluke, but this year they're looking even stronger.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing play for the Vegas Wildcards, especially with the big change up that they did over in the offseason. Like a lot of people had some questions of whether or not if this was too risky of a move to help elevate this team, but right now they are proving that to be otherwise.
Well, I mean, losing Tyler Conley was a big hit to their roster, and obviously he's in Alaska now, but they've kind of brought in. They have big furs on the team that can step in and support, and obviously picking up Tyreek Murphy has been a boon for their uh, front court depth. Sorry,
Oh, for
backcourt depth.
sure. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the combination between Morrison and Murphy have been a very excellent backcourt for this team to help keep their offense flowing, especially giving one each other a break uh throughout the game, and it's going to be certainly interesting. Now, for Queens, obviously they don't really have too many noticeable players on their roster. Now, of course, they have Misha Maxwell, who has been their longtime point guard for the past few years, doing whatever she can to help give the teams any kind of win that they can.
And matching up against their former team tonight, in fact.
Yeah, for sure, it's going to be a very interesting one to see. It would be fun to play a little bit of a spoiler here against the wild cards, but of course, as I say that, we do see both of these teams getting ready to line up and get this game going.
And of course, I
And
don't think tonight she will be starting for the Queens, but we'll see her at some point.
yeah, for sure. And now with Morrison with the Rock heading it over to Gale, we'll see if Vegas is going to be the first one to take the first punch of this game as Murphy is trying to wait for this play to develop with only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Gets the quick screen, goes for the three, and it's good. So right now, LVG starting off pretty early with that first three-pointer. We'll see how the Pride responds as Azora hands over to Thompson. Quick passing into the paint, trying to see if they can get somebody open. Here comes Anari, looking to find a way to drive into the paint, but instead goes for a pop for a 50-footer. No good, but Clemens does get the board and dunks it down.
Yeah, and you talked a bit about the Queen's Pride not necessarily having a lot of notable names. That's not 100% true. We have seen a bit of a rise last year. Obviously, Melanie Thompson winning three-point contest, and Anari this year has really stepped up and arguably in debate for most improved player this year.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a few players on the Queens that could possibly help give them into a playoff contention as we get to see another shot for the wild card as Morrison does draw the foul on that one. So she gets the opportunity for the old school 3 point play.
Yeah, and it was Anari there matchup. Not the best a situation down the post. Really needs to rely on Iverson to help out on the defense. I know the orangutan coming over from Huntsville, a bit of a pickup for the Pride, and kind of makes the front court a little bit complicated for the wild cards. They have Connor McQuaid, Tucker Iverson. They drafted Alan Clemens with their top pick this year. That's three centers basically for two spots.
Yeah, it's very interesting how they're going to pretty much set this team up for the future. Of course, there's plenty of veterans that can help aid this team to improve, but it's going to be a long ride for the Pride to try to get things set up. As Anari goes for three, but it's in and out this time, and Gale gets the rebound.
Ooh, a no-look pass behind the back from Murphy down the Volkov in the post.
Yeah, and Morrison's trying to have to find a way to get some kind of basket going, but she's not able to get it this time. But we do get an offensive rebound from Robbins. Robbins instead hands it over to Morrison, and Morrison does get the quick cut, hands it over back to Robbins. Robbins tries to lay it up, and it's no good. Not able to get the second chance opportunity. So we're still up 6-2 for Vegas.
Yeah, the Great Dane really battling down the post there, and she's had to step up a bit, like we talked about with Tyler Conley leaving. She's found herself more in a starting role here, having to make the most of this opportunity.
And Inari is able to go ahead and get the nice finger roll for her as she does cut the deficit down to 2 with that basket.
You have to see how the two Kitsunes on the court play together. Tenma, obviously, the other one. And the starting rotation is Gale not able to make that three-pointer.
Yeah, and now the Queens have a chance to take the lead as Azora goes for 3, but it hits the back of the rim. Probably need to slow down a little bit right there. I know we're trying to get some kind of lead to get that first breakthrough with that lead change, but instead we get a nice block there. But Gale's able to pick it up. Morrison goes for that desperation 3, and it's in and out, and Iverson gets the rebound. What a great defensive effort there for the Pride. And we get another, and they go coast to coast as well with that dunk, tying it up 6 apiece.
So that's what I feel like Tenma needed to do the first go-round. He had a good fast break opportunity. He just chose the first time to try to pull up 3 in transition. And, when you have an easy lane to the basket like that, take it. Take it every day.
Yeah, we get another miss there for Vegas. So now Queen has the opportunity to take this lead, get a nice dish there for Thompson. And Thompson's not able to lay it down for her squad.
Okay, maybe she actually would be better for me on the arc. She is a three-point specialist. Take back what I just said, put her on the perimeter.
Yeah, and speaking of perimeter, Gale is able to get the long 2-pointer this time, as Vegas does still keep the lead 8-6.
Yeah, Hoof just on the line, though, not going to count. Almost might as well be worth 2.5 points at that distance.
Yeah, for sure. And we get an illegal screen there for Iverson, so the ball will be turned over with that, and I believe that's Iverson's first foul. It's the first foul of the game in general, actually.
Second foul. There was that and one opportunity. Your favorite.
Oh yeah, the and one. Yes. So yeah, this is the second foul overall, but first one on Iverson. So Vegas will get the ball back as we get a nice shot of Iverson's back. But in any case, Vegas has a chance to extend their lead here with a basket as Gale hands it over to Morrison.
Well, between the two teams, I feel like obviously with Thompson being no longer reigning three-point champ, as she did not win this All-Star Games second go-round. I feel like Vegas has a bit of a more dangerous perimeter between Morrison, Murphy, and Gale.
Yeah, that's going to be something to look out for as the Queens tie it up once again with that mid-ranger. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can have to make that perimeter very tough for Vegas in order to stay in it. As now Volkov looking to aim to get something as he passes it over to Gale. Gale gets the quick screen, has an open lane, has it over to Robbins, and Robbins gets drawn for the foul, and he will go on the line for 2.
Yeah, chance to get back the lead, and like I said, that's second foul on Tucker Iverson now.
I believe that is the second foul for him in general. So nothing. It's a little bit worrisome considering that we're in the middle of the first quarter, and one more he probably will have to sit out for.
Well, I already see someone ready to sub in, so I have a feeling they are going to sit him down.
Yeah, and right now we see Robbins. Not able to make the first one for her team. And we do see Iverson get subbed out for Hartford. So hopefully the Queens are going to be able to do just fine without Iverson. As Robin does make the second one, so they're have got the lead up to 9-8 as we're halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, both teams struggle. I mean, I'm not gonna say struggling a little bit, but not able to fire from all cylinders after the All-Star game. I feel like the break takes a little bit of rust to get back into the swing of things here.
Yeah, for sure. And we still continue to see the struggles for Inari as only 2 points, 1 for 4 so far in this game. We'll hope to see if Inari is able to pick things back up. It's Gale trying to survey the field. Gale gets the screen, get the pickup opportunity, and again for a long 2 this time. Pause, we're on the line, but they do get the lead up to 3 points.
And the Queens need to start answering from beyond the arc. And as I say that, Tinma trying to do just that, not able to.
Yeah, and Las Vegas has the opportunity to do a 3-point of their own, but again, no good. It just seems like both teams are trying to rush to get the points on the basket because it's really looking like a very slow-paced game between the two of them. And I can't even say that it's like both teams are doing well defensively. It's just they're not really finding the right open shots for them to take. And of course, Inari having to go for a tough long 2, but no good. But Hartford's able to pick it up and score. Great second chance opportunity as that size came into play real quick.
Yeah, just great heads up. You saw as soon as the shot went up, the shot clock warning started going. Hartford was getting ready for the opportunity to clean up the missed shot, and Gale, a great break under the basket, backdoor pass, is able to lay it up and in.
Tyrone Gam, former Pittsburgh Keystone, really showing his spot there for the wild cards. Right now, Inari trying to go for a mid-ranger, no good. Really good defense there for the wild cards. And right now, we got a huge dunk there from Gale. Gale really showing out these past 2 possessions as he's able to help extend that lead up to 5 for Vegas. And we get a quick timeout. I believe that was on the Queens side.
I mean, can you blame them after that big of a dunk?
No, not at all. It's a pretty big, ferocious one, and that quieted down the crowd very, very quickly. Vegas doing whatever they can to go ahead and to try and get some kind of cushion in, as they are in a bit of I believe they're at a 6-0 run at this point.
Yeah, but I was gonna say it's not much of a run, but then again, considering the current score, it's not like they've had a lot of opportunity to put up big points here tonight.
Yeah, that's the that's the one thing that they had to do is take advantage of the missed opportunities on the Queen's side to help try and have more of a comfortable lead than they have right now. Because I do believe they had plenty of chances to possibly make this into a 10-point game, really. But it's just that they have not been able to take advantage of those of the missed shots on the Queen's end.
I mean, a lot of missed threes from both teams, and how long do they stay to the 3-point game? And I was kind of singing the praise of LVG having 3 pretty good 3-point shooters, and that's not even getting into their bench players being able to contribute from beyond the arc. Whereas with the Queens, it really is 1 or 2 of their players you think of as 3-point shooters. As we see, Maxwell does enter the court now as both teams make some substitutions to from their bench.
Yeah, we're seeing majority of the second unit for both sides have a chance to go ahead and make some noise as Swimmer goes ahead and lays it up and in. Jerome getting moved from what is now team the Arizona Demons. Being able to show his offensive prowess there, as now we see Vegas trying to see if they can get the deficit back up to 5, but gets blocked there. So now Jordan trying to find something. He might have to pass it up. There's only less than 2 seconds of the shot clock. Try to lay it up, and it's no good. I'm not sure what was the plan for that one, but it was not going to go anywhere. So great defense there by the Pride.
Yeah, the maybe needed to reset, but the shot clock's so late in the game, uh, not able to really reset and draw up a good play. That was probably the closest Elliott was going to get to the basket. Like I said, the defense was just right there.
Yeah, right now Perkins gonna have to go for a tough three of her own, and it's not gonna be good. But Hartford once again getting the rebound, but again another missed opportunity for the second chance points. And now Jordan passing it up, but it's a quick turnover there by Davenport. Not really a good
No, Davenport
option
got the
there.
ball.
Yeah, as Hartford tries to lace it up, and it is good. So now, just like that, the Cup deficit down to 1 with those 2 quick baskets. And now you have King heading up to Jordan. Jordan trying to lay it up, and it is not going to be good there as Maxwell gets the board. Misha hands it over to Perkins once again. Perkins gets the foul, and that'll be Gale's first personal, so we'll see if they're going to be able to take this lead here with these next 2 baskets.
Yeah, the Zorks will head to the line 4-2.
And right now, Freya Perkins really just trying to attack the basket as often as possible these past few possessions. As Freya does get the first, so now we're tied on up. And it doesn't look like we're going to have any substitutions from either side.
Well, no one else is in foul trouble at the moment, so that's helpful.
Yeah, that is very much helpful.
I
So this is
fully
probably going to...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say this is probably going to be the 2 units that we're going to see for the rest of this quarter anyways, as we're only about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, we might see, some of the deeper reserves get a minute or two just to, especially maybe for the Queens, Jason having to come in a bit early, and that's something that they want to try to give more time to recover.
Yeah, that is the notion is right now. Getting a quick shot there, and it's going to be good there for the Queens. The Queens now extend their lead up to 3. And we get a quick timeout there on the wild cards side of things, as they're now down by 3. So I got to say, a really good effort there for Queens to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that Vegas has kind of floundered throughout this session.
You just said they had a 6-point run, and now it's the other way around. Queens with their run.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big thing as Gale goes for a mid-ranger, and it's no good there. Perkins with the rebound.
Yeah, the inbound, that was not a bad turnaround jumper, just not able to convert it. And the Queens, they're starting to catch a little fire, their bench.
Yeah, their bench really coming into play here as Misha Maxwell gets the mid-ranger. Really good spot for them as Gale hands over to Jordan. Jordan really trying to make some moves, and he does get the foul drawn as Maxwell gets her first personal. So Jordan will go on the line for 2 to help to try and cut the deficit down. And right now, as we await for the first shot to be taken. So what do you think Vegas really has to do to try and get control back into this game again?
Well, I was going to say, their bench needs to step up a little bit here. They are the ones who've been on the floor as they've fallen behind. They need to really either clamp down defense or pick it up on the offense, either or. It's not they've already started to win the battle by getting Iverson 2 fouls. But now that he's not on the floor, they need to capitalize on the post play. And right there, they need to get the Queens need to be able to box out there. That's a great way. Wallstein able to get the missed free throw. That's extra bonus points. That's a new 3-point play.
Yeah, that's definitely a very unorthodox way of getting 3-point plays, but that is a great opportunity for Vegas to cut the deficit down. Nonetheless, they have a chance to tie it up, and they're not going to be able to do it with that basket there as Perkins gets the rebound. And so now Perkins trying to go for a quick Euro layup, but it's not going to be good. King trying to go for a quick dunk, and it goes down. And now we got everything tied up 20 apiece. Both teams really fighting hard for this one. Really liking how things are going for the Queens.
Right. Yep. And just like that, tied back up. That was a great timeout usage. It feels like coach got the word and they needed to, got them back on track. And now it's up to the Queens. Can they keep going? And Jason cleaning up that miss, a reverse dunk.
Yeah, Hartford really doing a fantastic job getting those clean boards for the Queens. And right now, the size advantage is really becoming well into play for the Pride. And now we have Moore with the basket, getting the quick screen. Pass it over to King. King wide open for three, and it goes down. So now Las Vegas is now taking the lead, 23-22, with less than a minute left in the first quarter. We'll see how the Pride respond to that. Let's get a quick pass to Maxwell. Maxwell goes for three, and she's able to get it down herself.
That might be the Queen's first three of the night.
Yeah, that's definitely the first time I've seen a three go down for this team. As Korcher hands it over to Wallstein. He passes it quickly over to King. King. Waiting for the screen. He does get it. King going for the quick dunk again. Tying it back up. They are really taking advantage of those screens. Making that lane wide open for those easy twos.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about the three-point game, and obviously they're going to just prove me wrong tonight and attack the basket down low. And, you know, even if they are missing their threes, okay, King with the long-range shot, air ball. As the clock was winding down, I don't obviously needed to throw something up, but did not even come in contact with the rim.
I mean, it was an attempt. Try to take any opportunity you can to help possibly get the momentum over to your side, but we are going to end the first quarter 25 apiece. And I gotta say, it's been a very hard-fought battle between the two, and the Queens have been very impressive considering what we were expecting of in this game.
Well, the offense picked it up there in the last 4 minutes of the half. I mean, I didn't think we were going to break 20 points at the rate we were going.
Yeah, both teams really were struggling on the field, respectively, but it seems that both teams were able to pick it up finally at the end of the first quarter. As we go ahead and start with the Pride with the ball as we start off the second quarter.
Yeah, we see they substitute some of their starters back in, keeping Misha Maxwell out there, though. She was a bit of a spark plug to start when she came on the floor. And right there, we're going to see Tinma head to the line 4-2, it looks like.
Yeah, and that foul's going to be on Korcher. So some really good use of getting into the paint and drawing the foul. So now the Wildcards could take the lead once again. And it's looking like that this is going to be one of those affairs where the lead gets traded back and forth. But we'll see if this is going to be a spark there for the Queens.
Yeah, Connor, a bit of a journey for, was drafted by Williamsburg back in 2015. Left to go to Edmonton for 3 years. Was out of the league for a year, came back. Was part of the Voyagers team that unfortunately was traded, so missed out on the championship last year. Finished on the Tennessee Moonshiners and signed with LVG this year. So, a couple great teams that he's been on, but to come so close to having a championship ring and having been traded, then to watch your team win must be heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is, but it also gives you a chance to be like, you have that champion, you've been in a championship culture, and you hope to bring that to whatever squad that you bring in, that you go into next, as that's certainly the case here for the Queens, as Azora going for the mid-ranger. It is no good this time as Murphy gets the rebound. So now O'Hara goes over to Robbins. Robbins for the quick mid-ranger, and it's good.
Yeah, the hook shot from the Great Dane, very difficult to stop. I mean, even for Clemens, who I think has an inch or two on her. Tough matchup, especially with that much distance between being able to block the ball.
Azora with a nice dish over to Inari to get the quick two. And right now, that'll be the second field goal for Inari, 2 for 7. So any way to help pick it up for her offensively would be great.
Yeah, she definitely tried to force it a bit in the first quarter, and it'd be good if she can
Ooh.
start taking a bit more starting. Oh my gosh, Iverson already his third now. Wasn't even on the court for full 2 minutes.
Yeah, and so that's probably going to be the it for him for the rest of this half, anyways. As the Queens are able to go ahead and go on the line for two more. Well, excuse me, the wild cards get to go line for two more and try and tie this thing back up. And the first one is going to be good here. And that's going to be something to really look out for when it comes to Korcher, is the fact that that's gonna be a lot of time sitting on the bench because of that foul issue. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be able to adjust the lineups uh, with that going on throughout the rest of this half.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna now try and potentially attack Clemens if they can get their two big starters, their two bigs, in foul trouble. LVG could have a very easy time in the post going forward. I mean, obviously Jason stepped up in that first quarter when he took over for the orangutan, but you know there's only so long that they can keep him out there before they need to put someone else in.
Yeah, right now Murphy going for a mid range, and it's going to be good there. So Las Vegas now has taken the lead, up by 2 this time. And right now the crowd's kind of been out of it for a little bit these past couple of minutes because of the situation that's going on. As Anari trying to find a way to get into this, but instead passes it over to Clemens, who goes for a mid ranger, and it's not going to be able to go down this time.
Yeah, that's not the Cheetah's range really. Needs to be attacking the post more, but again, time becomes a problem.
Ooh.
And Robbins, no issue from a foot out. 7 points so far for the Great Dane.
Yeah, didn't take too many shots so far in this game, but a lot of the shots have been very efficient for Robbins, and that's going to be something that is key.
We saw her brick a free throw, so we know what her range roughly is.
Yeah, that is true. As we get to see another miss there for the Queens, and now Las Vegas is looking to try and run away for this thing, as O'Hara tried to go for a Euro step, but it's not going to be going down this time.
Yeah, I think she needs to do that against someone maybe who's less than half, twice her size. The butterfly trying to go against the 7'6" Cheetah was probably not going to work out in the end, but at least they answer back with a bucket, the Queens, quickly.
Yeah, and right now, we're trying to see if Vegas can extend the lead back up to 4. It's Robbins once again trying to lay it up, but it's not going to be good. Good defense there by Iverson, as the
Yeah,
Queens has a chance to tie things up.
yeah, and I feel like they're really gambling with Iverson out there. And Nari, the most open three
Ooh,
possible right now, but not able to convert it.
but Clemens was able to clean things up and tie it up once again, and we get another timeout there for Vegas after that basket. And it really looks like that the Queens are taking advantage of the paint, as the size has really become the big factor here within that run.
Yeah, I mean, I get why the Queens are taking the risk of keeping Iverson out on the floor right now. He is definitely a threat in the post, as we saw Clemens there coming up too. I mean, looking at the two, uh, the bigs on both sides, Ivy Robinson 7'4", 285. Clemens not much bigger at 7'5", 303. And Tucker Iverson, sorry, 7'1". Nikolai Volkov 7'3". So on paper, you would see them as being comparable to the matchups between each other, but uh, Queens right now are just finding better positioning.
Yeah, and that's kind of really the big thing, is trying to take advantage of the positions that you have as your bigs, and that's going to be expected to be a very long slugfest between these two teams in the paint. And that once again comes into play of trying to see if they can stretch out, which team would stretch out the floor first offensively when it comes to their 3 points. Because right now, I think there's only been like maybe 3 or 4 3 points made so far in this game.
Yeah, it really hasn't been a three-point focus game, and that was a big opportunity there for Queens to have taken the lead with that wide open three, and I think the teams are starting to. We're gonna start seeing the teams leaving the perimeter open more as the game has focused on the post. So maybe we'll see some three-pointers start slipping in later as the looks get more tempting.
Yeah, Morrison with the last basket there for the Wild Cards. They extend the lead back up to 2 with that basket. She has a total of 5 points in this game. As Clemens does have the size advantage, but he sent this over to Anari. Anari with a wide open three, and again, in and out.
Once it starts falling, LVG's going to have to start committing a better defense there because they're leaving her wide open. They're pretty much gambling at this point. And a big
Woo!
elevate from Morrison, or sorry, not Morrison, O'Hara.
Yeah, O'Hara with the nice dunk, extended the lead once again. But if the Queens are not able to make those threes, they're going to continue to back off more and more, showing the lack of respect there defensively. So they need to find a way to get some kind of answers to make them respect that line once again. But this time, it's over to Thompson in the paint, and we get a offensive three violation, holding the ball a little bit too long within the paint. So now that'll be another unforced turnover as the Queens do get the ball on the other end.
LVG a chance to push this lead even higher. So, see some substitutions.
Yep, and right now, Baldaki, one of the players that subbed in, but instead gets the miss, and we get a loose ball foul on Clemens, so it will stay on this side of the court.
Yeah, he tried using his paw to keep the defender away, and we are going to see them sitting Tucker Iverson. You know, obviously the foul was called on Clemens, but if a fourth one were to be called on Iverson at this point, it would be a very tough second half for them.
Yeah, for sure, as Gale tried to make the quick shot, but it's not going to be good. Thompson ends up getting called for the charging foul.
Oh, God, these refs are making the crowd angry right now. That's like the third foul against Queens that has been kind of a loose ball foul.
Yeah, some really costly mistakes there. As Robin's able to get the quick 2, and now they're up by 6. A 14-6 run for the Cards in the past 5 minutes. Right now, they are just steamrolling offensively as the Queens continue to sputter out with all these unforced turnovers. And right now, Fengetsu heads over to McQuaid. McQuaid for a good wide open 3, but again, another miss. They have not been having any kind of luck here behind the arc. And Gale is continues to extend that lead for Vegas, as right now the Wild Cards are just taking anything that they can get as the Queens finally call a timeout as things just gotten way out of hand.
Yeah, there's too much pressure being put on the Queens to shoot threes right now. I mean, obviously they're wide open looks, but if they're not working, you're just shooting yourself in the foot at this point. I mean, maybe one or two will start falling, but unless they catch on fire at this point, they almost need to abandon the three-point game and just go back to the attacking the post in the mid-range.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the things that they are going to have to start relying on. If the threes are not going down, they're going to have to find a way to find some open lanes into the paint. But it's going to be very difficult if the other team is not respecting your 3-point shots whatsoever, as it's been probably well over 3 minutes since the Queens were able to even get a 3-point down.
Well, you remember the game was tied 33 apiece, and we've watched LVG. It's not even like they've had a strong run. They've just kept playing the game as they played, and they've built a 8-point lead. And now it's up to the Queens to answer back with either their own defensive stops or finally start hitting the game plan going. I mean, it really doesn't feel like they've hit the intended path forward that they've been aiming for with these fouls and turnovers.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the big thing offensively, is try to find a way to clean up those unforced errors, as Fengetsu does get to go on the line for 2 after drawing the foul on Morrison. So Tanya will have an opportunity to try and get some points on the board, since it's been a good minute since we last seen the Queens gain any sort of points. So anything is good for them to try and get the momentum their way. And right now,
Well, the first one would
Fengetsu,
be helpful if they made it.
yeah, but Tanya not able to get the first one down. We'll see if the second one will finally get something going for the Queens. But right now, that's going to be something they're going to also have to rely on, is possibly trying to see if they can get some fouls go their way, as Tanya does get the second one. So now the deficit's cut down to 7, 41 to 34. And right now, both teams probably could be doing better, as Gale not able to get the mid-range. So the Queens got a chance to cut it down even more, as Satara going for the mid-range, and it's in and out.
The Macaw not able to convert there. That's frustrating. As the LVG answers with another bucket. 9 points now. I mean, obviously, Queens only 1 point in the last, I'd say, like 4 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah, right now, Gale doing a really good job so far offensively, as we get a quick dish to Clemens, and Clemens going for the easy 2. Really using that size to his advantage, and that's something that you really need to rely on if you are a Pride, is guys like Clemens to continue to try and crash the board and really get those easy 2-pointers, as Gale goes for 3, and it is in and out as Clemens gets the rebound. Right now, Thompson has a size advantage, and he does draw the foul, and 1!
Ooh.
And that is one way to get this crowd back going into this and have that momentum, is to go for that old school 3-point play. Really good opportunity to take advantage of the size and force your defender to foul you or miss the shot. But of course, that did not happen, as Queens got the chance to have a 3-point play. And now we are seeing some major substitutions, it looks like, from both ends, as we go ahead and prepare for this shot. And right now, Thompson is not able to get that one down. So we are going to continue to stay with this 5-point lead, as Badaki not able to go ahead and get that layup. Some good defense there for the Queens.
And now Queens Pride need to answer back. And Thompson for 3 would have been a good opportunity, but no, she wants to drive to the basket and gets a good look thanks to those screens, as you were talking about earlier. Maybe they need to get back to the screen game, even though they did get called for an illegal one earlier.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the best thing in their arsenal right now against the wild cards. And just like that, they're only down by 3, so they have a chance to possibly tie this game to get a quick stop here, as King is getting an offensive 3-second violation once again. So there's an unforced turnover there for Vegas' side this time, as Pride has the opportunity to possibly tie this game with that turnover. Now, here comes Maxwell. Passes it up to Satara. Satara, some quick passes over between the two, as Misha does passes back up to Satara once again. Instead, passes it up to Maxwell. The two are just passing with each other. Get the screen. Maxwell for the long 2. This time it's not going to be good. Right now, Aridi trying to lay it up, but it's not going to be good. No good on that finger roll. And right now, both teams are kind of starting to cool off a little bit here, as we have been on the same score of 43 to 40 for the past minute. And of course, as I say that, we get a quick layup there, as the Queens finally got the deficit down to 1.
Well, now it's been LVG cooling off. Obviously, they had a 9-point lead, but then they've stalled here, and Queens answered back within it. Now they just need to keep going, and they can take the lead before the half ends.
Yeah, that's a really quick turn of events, as now the crowd is in it for the Pride, and King is able to quiet them down a little bit with that easy layup. Really good dish there into the paint. So now Vegas has the opportunity to go over it against Hartford. Hartford trying to lay it up, and it is going to be good. And the Cards will have to call timeout once again to try and see if they can calm down the Pride side.
Yeah, and just like that, back within one. 3 minutes left to go. Plenty of time for either team to possibly get a bit of a lead to end this half. And, the offense has stayed pretty consistent. Obviously, we've had some down points, but we're on track to break 50 here before the first half ends.
Yeah, both teams really picking up the pace offensively. I mean, right now it just seemed like it was going to be a slow defensive slugfest in the beginning, but now both teams really kind of going down in the gritty in the paint. That's kind of been the bread and butter for both sides, really. But the Queens are able to take more advantage of it, especially with the size advantage they have on the other end.
Yeah, and I mean, for LVG, what do you think they need to do here to actually hold on to these leads they've built? Because this is the second time now that they've watched it fall apart.
I think one of the big things is to honestly try their best to minimize some of the mistakes that they have made in order to get the crowd back into it. Because really, the runs really started shortly after a foul was called on Vegas, especially ones that were completely unforced, unnecessary, and you got to do a better job in trying to play some clean basketball in order for them to continue the momentum being on their side. And now we get
Wallstein, nice
another,
fadeaway there.
ooh, really tough shot to make, but able to go down. And those are the kind of backs that you really want to see from your squad. As right now, Misha really going coast to coast, being able to lay it out up pretty quickly. As Misha, 9 points so far in this game, 4 for 6. It's been a really good game for her so far. And a quick losing of the ball there. Zatara with the steal. And now the Queens have a chance to take the lead as they hand it over to Micah, who hands it up to Maxwell. And right now, try to get someone open. Zatara going for the long two, but it hits the side of the rim.
Yeah, Zatara's been struggling here tonight, not able to really get anything going.
Yeah, Vegas got the nice little break that they needed after that other unforced turnover. But now King with the rock, have a chance to lay it up, and it's not going to be good there as Davenport gets the board. Zatara left by himself, but is not able to get the side with that 2-on-1 fast break. It would have been better just to wait for your teammates to get there, but of course Vegas not able to get the shot out as Hartford gets the rebound. And once again, Zatara has the rock and dishes it over. Now Davenport is just trying to find something. Handed over to Maxwell. Maxwell wide open for three, and it's not going to be good. But Hartford was trying to get the rebound, but instead tips it to the opposing side. And now Vegas had a chance to try and lay it up, but it's no good. But Jordan gets it back, and it's not going to go down. So many second chance opportunities on both sides, not able to take advantage of them.
And how the score is stalled once again. And there is, again, Caster's curse. As soon as I say that, Jason steps up and gets the bucket down in the post.
Yeah, now Queens does take the lead here with that bucket. We'll see if the wild card is able to take it right back as Wallstein going for a mid-ranger. It's not going to be good, but the tip in from Mora gives the lead back over to Vegas.
Yeah, the Koi Beta Fish able to tap it in. Easy points for their stat sheet.
Yeah, right now, Wallstein does get the board for Vegas, and Vegas has a chance to extend the lead again. Jordan really going coast to coast, going for that quick layup, but it's not going to be good there. Some good help defense there for the Pride, and they now have a chance to take the lead again as Misha goes for a tough long two, and it's not going to be good, and that looks like it's going to be the end of the first half as Vegas is up by one, 49-48, as we go back into the locker rooms.
Yeah, a close game overall, honestly. I mean, considering at one point we felt like the Pride were falling short of keeping pace, but then out of nowhere kind of had that flourish of points and off of unfortunate turnovers from the wild cards. But you could say that both ways. I mean, defensively looking there, the Pride seem to have everything going their way, steals and blocks, but they've just been atrocious from the 3-point line tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of going to be one of the main stories is that both teams were not doing very hot behind the arc. Just trying to dive into these situations. But still, even with that, both teams were very close to a 50 piece. As we go ahead and look at the first half stats.
And obviously Hartford coming off the bench, huge contributor, and it's been thanks to foul trouble that Jason's had this opportunity. The Elk able to step up coming off the bench. I mean, third most minutes from the Queen's Pride thanks to those needing to cover the fouls.
Yeah,
Clement.
100%. Like,
Oh, go ahead. I mean, we don't have to talk about each player's individual stats. We'll see them at the end of the game as well.
yeah, for sure. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, it's really kind of one of those main things that when one of your main bigs go into foul trouble like that, it's gonna be interesting to see how the bench responds because obviously there's gonna have to be adjustments to be made, and the Pride have done a really good job of doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw there Iverson with 7 rebounds in only 10 minutes. I mean, he is a rebounding machine. So he is important to keep on the floor because he can prevent a lot of those second chance opportunities that the LVG has kind of failed to prevent on their side. You know, they've given up a few of those, as we've seen, like Clemens clean up the rock and get a second chance opportunity. Um, but overall, the Pride just need to clean up some of their forceful shooting. We see the 3-point shooting has not gone their way so far here tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those big things when it comes to both sides really trying to get things going because I think the big question for both of these sides is who's going to be able to clean up their mistakes more in the second half. Because right now, I feel like the game is more focused on the mistakes both teams have made rather than like, or perhaps taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. Because some of the mistakes that could have easily been taken advantage of on either side to probably extend this lead even more so, but neither side have been able to take advantage of it to the way that you would want them to.
You're right. I mean, the one saving grace for the Queens is that where their struggles from beyond the arc have been uh, easy to see, so has it been on LVG's side. I mean, yeah, they've hit actually 2 threes here tonight so far, but that's not their normal quantity of or quality from beyond the arc. I should say we'd expect to see a few more coming in as the game goes on, and Elliott really struggled for them. I think getting blocked multiple times did not help his stat sheet there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because like I think like it's definitely a off game from the wild cards when it comes to the 3-point um opportunities that they have been given. But of course, you can see the same thing for Queens as well as the Vegas has really not respected the Pride at all beyond the arc throughout the first half. As we do get ahead to get things started in the third quarter, as you said, Las Vegas is up by 149-48. We'll see how both teams respond as Iverson goes ahead and lays it up, and it is good as they do take the lead once again with that finger roll layup.
Yeah, I mean it's a new opportunity, a new half. They have a chance. They had an opportunity to reset uh, in the locker room, get their minds cleared if they've been having a struggle tonight, or try and stay focused if they've been having a hot paw. And both teams now, who can get on the roll first?
Yeah, well, right now it doesn't seem like Vegas is having up to a great start as they're not able to get their first possession for a successful basket. But we'll see if the Queens able to do that. And Iverson go for a long two, and it is able to go down very easily. If only Iverson took a couple of steps back to really kind of put a statement here and say, hey, y'all better start actually taking wanting to be interested in defending us around there. But we'll see how Vegas responds. As we get a long two there, and it's not going to be good. But Gale with the rebound, really great effort there from Gale, and Gale not able to get it down though. So right now we have a chance for the Pride to get an opportunity to to extend their lead, and we get a hard foul there on Morrison, and we get a quick shove.
They better be careful. They might start throwing some flagrants out if you do that.
Yeah, Azora was definitely not having that because that was a really hard foul there. I'm surprised that they left that as a common foul.
They'll call a charge, but they won't call a flagrant here tonight.
But yeah, that was a very very hard foul between both of them, and Azora was definitely not having it. But of course, they are going to see it as a common foul. As we get a quick, easy first bucket there for Azora. And now we're seeing Moore getting subbed out for Robbins. First time seeing Robbins here in the second half. And right now, Azora is able to make the second one as it does rattle home. So now the Queens are up by 5. Really great start there for the Pride, as Vegas has not yet to make a basket so far in the first 2 minutes of this half. Morrison, though, wide open for 3, and it hits the back of the rim. So again, more of a struggle here, as Lindsey Morrison only 2 for 7 so far. And now Clemens has a clear size advantage, and it's just going to make that all day, every day, as the Cards have to call timeout.
Yeah, I mean, they've let it slip here. 8 straight points. Not a single basket in 2 minutes since coming into the second half. And you really can't afford to have a slow start here.
Yeah, they really can. And unfortunately, they have done just that. Vegas is going to need to find a way to find some kind of answer to slow the Queens down, because they're just getting anything within the paint. Some of their mid-range shots are coming down, and they're looking to push back more and more as they start going in. And once Queens start actually getting down those threes, it's going to get ugly very quickly for Vegas.
Yeah, and it's I don't want to say, a team that's looking forward to the playoffs a couple months down, in the hunt, kind of expected to be there, you maybe start losing sight of teams that are below you, and that could be the risk, especially if you're expected to be a high seed, because if you're matched up against the 8th, 7th, 6th seed, you can't necessarily afford to have bad nights like you do tonight, like they're having tonight.
Yeah, that's certainly the case, but even at the end of the day, it is the regular season. Some games that you probably are gonna have to look as learning experiences to help try and see what not to do, because playing down to your competition is something that does happen sometimes, especially in an 80 game season such as this, as Iverson does get the rebound, and of course, as you see, Wildcards have not scored in the last 3 minutes. That is not something you want to see if you're a Cards fan.
Well, most of them are in Vegas right now. And oh!
And of course, as we continue to extend the lead for the Queens, with that quick dunk there from Clemens, they're just getting anything that they want in the paint offensively, as they now have a chance to extend the lead to double digits with a stop here at another basket. Here right now, we're seeing some good defensive effort there, but it's not going to matter too much, as Robbins does get the quick mid-ranger.
Well, it wasn't really quick. It took, almost 4 minutes.
Okay.
My Uber driver would not be getting my Uber Eats would not be getting a tip for being that late to the game.
Yeah, that is true, but it is going to be very helpful for them, but they need to find something to do to stop the Pride offensively, because right now they are just doing anything they want in the paint. Everyone's getting a piece. As right now, Robbins trying to be the main focal point for the offense for the Cards, but it's not going to go down this time. Thompson hands it over to Clemens. Clemens trying to find a way to get back into the paint, but gets double teamed here as Thompson is over to Anari. Anari gets blocked there by Gale. Some really good defensive effort there by Vegas, and Murphy gets swatted out of the get out of here as Queens showing how it's done on the defensive end as Clemens lays it up, and it's gonna be good. Now they have an 11-point lead, 62-51. What a turn of events these past few possessions.
Yeah, we thought for a second there we might have seen the start of something going, and Volkov will at least get the second chance opportunity to fall, but the crowd is getting behind the home team here, and it's because of these big flying plays, the big defensive stops, the big dunks. It's very hard to stop the sixth man that's surrounding you on the road.
Yeah, and right now, Vegas need to find a way to slow down this pace even more so, and trying to get some good defensive stops like that one to try and contain this very rough situation that they put themselves in. Right now, the crowd is yelling defense. Nikolov trying to lay it up. It does get fouled there on Iverson, and that is Iverson's fourth personal of the game. So Iverson really has to be careful here because he is getting closer and closer to getting fouled out in this game.
Yeah, fourth foul here in the third quarter. It's not ideal. I mean, you're looking at 19 minutes, 2 more fouls to give before fouling out. They'll probably sub him out here, and we'll see him return in the fourth quarter.
That is a possibility, but the first one is missed on Vegas, and we do see Thompson getting subbed out.
But they'll keep Iverson in. Ooh.
Yeah, it's interesting that Iverson does not go sit out for a few minutes. They really do believe that Iverson could be a huge help for them, as Volkov does get the second one. So now Vegas is only down by 8. We'll see if they continue to get some stops here, as the Queens are looking to aim to continue their roll. As Azora goes for a quick 3, and it's not going to go down this time. So now Murphy got the size advantage, going for the mid-ranger, and it is just going to be easy all day, every day, if he continues to get guarded by Inari. So now Azora.
And Inari just needs to get going from beyond the arc herself, She's been quiet tonight. She's tried to have some moments, but just not able to get that bucket to ever fall.
That is true, as we get a quick screen over, who decides to go for a tough shot, but gets blocked, but is able to draw the foul on Gale. So Azora will go on the line for 2 more. Azora has been on the line pretty often in this game so far, but that's something that you would really need to have as an offensive, to try and continue the offensive onslaught for the Pride.
Well, Queens have been in foul trouble with one specific player, whereas LVG, they've really spread the fouls out at the very least. But, all these extra trips to the line is really starting to add up here as the game goes on.
And that's something you really want to see if you're in either of these teams, like being able to get those shooting fouls when necessary, and really just slowly but surely extend the lead as much as you can, especially for the Pride. And that's something you have to understand, that as the game goes on, those free throws become more and more important, especially down the stretch. And Quinn's be able to take advantage of that wonderfully throughout this game. And right now, Vegas trying to find a way to cut this deficit down, but again, another missed opportunity as Perkins dishing over to Tanya. A lot of passing there for the Queen side, as Azora has the rock this time. Passes over to the paint for Perkins. Perkins going to lay it up, but it's not going to be good this time. As O'Hara almost getting a quick turnover there, as Gale able to make something out of nothing to draw the foul on Azora. So Gale will go on the line for 2.
Yeah, that was a really risky pass. Obviously, the defender had his back to the ball, but I think his tail caught a bit of it there and almost turned over, but Tyrone able to recover it. Still a risky pass. They need to be careful with these turnovers.
Yeah, and that's kind of really been the big name of the game, is to try to cut down the mistakes in the second half, and it's kind of come in with mixed results here for the wild cards, but they are able to get the first one down as Morrison gets subbed out for Balkati. And we're going to see a major change up here for the Pride, as a good percent of their second unit comes in. Right now, Gale is able to get the second one down. So they have cut the deficit down a little bit, down only by 6. So they have stopped the bleeding a little bit. But right now, they need to get a couple of good defensive stops in order for this to really become a game again. As Tanya goes wide open for 3, and it's not going to be good. So again, nice defensive opportunity there, is allowing a player that's not really very well known for the 3 ball in this game, so they can cut the deficit down even more so, as Robbins gets the draw the foul on Clemens. So Robbins will go on the line for 2.
Yeah, it's a good thing they did decide to sit Iverson a minute and a half ago. That probably would have been his 5th if he had been in the floor, as Clemens slid over to center. But that's one way that LVG can get back in this game. They're starting to find their way to the line more.
Take a break. Take a break.
Yep, that's going to be the name of the game so far, is since the Queens have gone onto the line a lot more often, Vegas needs to find a way to go ahead and catch up to them in the free throw opportunities. Because again, as I said, they become more and more important as the game goes on. So it's a great way to get things cut down. As the first one was made, they have an opportunity to see if they can cut the deficit down to 5 and possibly take the lead if they're able to make these next 2 baskets after this. As Robbins will get the second one. See, no Caster's curse there.
This time. See, you said they're going to make their next 2 baskets, though, you see. So really, you've cost them 5 points, even though unfortunate loss of court awareness causing a turnover there, and we're going to see a immediate substitution because of that.
Yeah, Maxwell heating up there really quickly, as right now the Cards are just really having a very ugly game so far, as we get to see some quick, amazing blocks there for Iverson, and the reason why he's such a huge factor there for this team. But now Vegas has an opportunity to try and cut this deficit down with a basket here, as Robbins way out in the yard, but it's in his hands with the Korchak. Korchak going for a layup, and it's not going to be good, as Perkins gets the rebound. But Perkins almost loses the ball there, but luckily they would try to clear it up a little bit. Because right now we get a tough basket there. That's not really going to do very well against a Clemens. So now we get a quick mid-ranger, and it's not going to be good.
See, the next 2 baskets were missed because you said something.
Okay, hush. Okay, it was halfway. It was halfway. As
That's 4 missed points compared to the 1 missed point if they had just missed the free throw. They took the wrong half of the curse.
it happens to the best of us. But Queens able to extend the lead up to 6 now. So the crowd's getting back into it just a little bit, as right now the Queens is doing very good so far. 54% in the field goal percentage in this quarter. But of course, they're only holding it up to 6 points. And right now,
if you're LVG, you're a little worried because Queens are getting better as the game has gone on. They have not, showing signs of the fatigue, even though we do see another timeout there because the deficit has slipped to 4 now.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think the majority of that 54% has really been in the opening minutes of this quarter, where the Queens just didn't seem like they were going to miss anything in these during that run. But now, while Las Vegas is able to pick up the pace a little bit on their end of the court, while the Queens is fizzling out just a little bit and trying to even things up between the 2 teams. But right now, Vegas has to take advantage of those missed opportunities for Queens because, again, those second chance opportunities that they keep on having, they're not able to execute the best of their abilities. So they need to find a way to, in those situations, because it's going to be a lot more scrambly in the opening seconds when that uh, second opportunity has been given, because everybody has to run back over to the offensive side of the ball. So they need to find a way to try and contain themselves and get that opportunity to get those points to not only possibly tie the game up, but also possibly take the lead and try and run away with it.
You're right there. I mean, obviously we got less than a little over 15 minutes left to go in this game. Plenty of time for LVG to, find a bit of a better stride and take a lead here. But same time, you're looking at the Queens, and if they continue to improve as the game goes on, the fourth quarter is going to be scary for them.
Yeah, 110%. But now the Queens haven't seemed to try to extend this lead, but they losing the ball there as Korcher gets the rock. O'Hara had an opportunity for some quick points, but again, not able to get it down. They need to find a way to slow things down a little bit when they have these chances because they cannot rush into it like this. Otherwise, they're going to have situations like this happen as Jerome is able to lay it up and in to extend the lead back up to 6. And that's kind of been my big issue with Vegas in this game. As they had a quick double team, and that's not going to matter whatsoever. As Robbins does get the quick 2, is that Vegas needs to find a way to pretty much slow things down when they have those opportunities and not try to rush it in, especially when the Queens have been able to kind of outpace them to get to the other end for some defense. But now we get a quick, very costly turnover there again for Vegas as one of the players does step out of bounds.
Yeah, and honestly, the players that are kind of struggling here, like Freya, may need to take a little bit of a break. They are not helping their team out as much as they think they are. 0 for 6 here. Even if someone else had made 2 of those 6, they could be in a much better position.
Yeah, right now we'll see if the Queens are able to take advantage of that turnover as we're seeing Davenport going for a quick 2, but it rattles in and out, not able to take advantage of it. So now Vegas hoping to get something out of this. Jordan pens it over to Robbins. Robbins going for the mid-ranger, and it is good. And now the Cards has an opportunity to tie this game up if they get this stop. It's going to be very important because they do not want to let the Queens go on another run, as they have scored 15 points in the past few minutes, and we get another turnover there. And see, this is what I want to see. Both getting the turnover, but slowing things down, get your offense set up so you can have a proper way of taking advantage of this turnover. And right now, Korcher gets the quick screen. Looking to possibly get into the paint, going for that tough shot. It's not going to go down, but Robbins, she's able to lay it down, tying this game up 68 apiece. What a way to get those second chance opportunities.
Yeah, and you saw right there, the defenders were both so focused on trying to block the shot that no one boxed out the Great Dane. And, might as well have been no one there in the post defending, because easy rebound. Didn't even have to do the volleyball tap back. She could have landed and jumped. But as we see, one opportunity as the foul gets called.
Yeah, right now, Misha just trying to make sure the Queens stay ahead of the Cards. And we do get to see Robbins get subbed out as Walstein gets to go start for her. And of course, for Pride, seeing another set of large substitutions for a variety of players. Iverson does come back in with these last 30 seconds of the third quarter. Do you think that's a little bit of a risk, though, doing that?
I mean, at this point, you're going to put him back in next quarter anyways. What's the extra 30 seconds going to matter? Maybe you can get a stop here with him on the floor. I mean, obviously right now, LVG's running a bench. lineup mostly, so might have a little bit more leeway.
It's a possibility we get a quick long three for the Vegas, but it's not going to be good. But Korcha does get the rebound, but it quickly turns it over for Iverson. Great hands for the big orangutan. And right now we get a quick pass over to Swimmer, and Maxwell has the rock with just less than 2 seconds on the clock, going for that three, and it's in and out. So at the end of three, the Pride is up by 3, 71-68.
And that is why they brought Iverson back in. Very active pause in the post. I mean, able to tap the ball away. I think actually their plan there was to try and maybe go for a three and then have Iverson available to rebound the ball, but the shot clock just got away from them. He was near the ball too. He could have maybe gone for it had they had an extra 1 or 2 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that really kind of shows how much of a defensive presence there is for Iverson, as we get a nice look and assist for highlight there on the Pride side. And it just really goes to show that how much they really like their bigs on this squad. And right now, you got to give a huge props there for the Pride, really just showing their guts out so far in this game.
Yeah, they kept it in, and Murphy wide open from
Ooh,
beyond the arc. Barely fell in, though.
Yeah, I was a little worried there as it was rolling in and out, but they were able to get the 3 points, as they do tie it up very quickly at the start of the fourth. That's something you want to see from the wild cards. As right now, Azora gets a nice dish over, but it's not going to go down, unfortunately, for Clemens, as Vegas has a chance to take this lead. And so far, Robin's going for the quick dunk. Really good dish there inside the paint for the easy reverse dunk there for Robbins.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to look like on the other end with Clemens, but a misplay on the pass there reduced the alley-oop to a turnover and gave LVG the chance to take the lead back here tonight.
And that is something that has been missing all game for Vegas. And we get another quick draw on the foul on Volkov. So the Pride will once again take advantage of going on the line for 2. And that is Thompson getting those opportunities. So right now, so far in this game, both teams really trying their best to try and take advantage of some of the mistakes the other one has had. And the Queens is not able to go ahead and try and cut this deficit down to a possible tie, but we'll see if Thompson's try to get the second one down. But it's going to be interesting as the fourth quarter goes on to see who's going to get the edge. Who do you think would be the one to end up getting a little bit of run these next couple of minutes?
It's so hard to tell. I mean, Queens had to make a couple comebacks, and now LVG has had to do the same. So you feel like both teams, no matter what the point total is, if they have 2 or 3 minutes on the clock, they can chip away at something. Obviously, I don't think we've had a lead much bigger than 10 here tonight, so it's not like there've been a lot of gutsy opportunities. And it hasn't been the 3 game. That's been the big shock, is that the threes have not played a factor here tonight.
Yeah, and Vegas, once again, not able to get anything down for that possession. The Queens have a chance to take the lead here with a basket. And that is something to really keep note of. The threes kind of seem to be non-existent for both sides. I mean, a nice little finger roll there for Thompson, as the Pride now has the lead, as they're up by 174-73. And that's going to be something to really take note of, is obviously I think the hot streak on behind the arc is probably not going to happen, but like, who's going to take those opportunities to their advantage and get that gone down? And so far, the last shoot that we had was in the very first possession of this quarter. We get a nice block there. And you might as well call that a shot clock violation with 0.8 seconds left on the shot clock, but a really good defensive effort there for the Pride.
Yeah, and at this point you seem to be man-to-man. Don't even let them get they're going to inbound the ball. Don't fall for any screens because they're going to have to shoot as soon as they get the ball. And even then, not enough time.
Yeah, and you hear a little bit of complaining there from Murphy as he really wanted to as he thought that the ball was off of his paws by the time the
Well,
clock went out. But
I think he's upset. He thinks the clock started before he touched it. I mean, they were ready to go the second it touched his paw there.
yeah, it was pretty much essentially a really good game plan to get him open because the screen was there for him to get the shot off, but unfortunately it wasn't gonna be enough as Anari is over to Azura. Azura going on for the quick mid-ranger, and it's good. Very tough shot there for Azura. In there right now, Morrison. And over to Gale. Gale for three, and it's going to hit the front of the rim this time as the Queens have a chance to extend the lead once again.
Okay, maybe who will win will be the one who doesn't take the three, as Tinma laying it down and dunking it as the wild cards. Their field goal percentage is slipping here.
Yeah, the Cards under 40% right now in field goal percentage. That is not something you want to see as the game goes on. Queens have a chance to go ahead and continue to extend their lead even more so. But, of course, they're going to stop here on the other end as Gale going for another layup. And it's no good, but Gale gets his own rebound, but gets blocked there by Iverson. Iverson really doing everything he can to keep the Vegas from cutting this deficit down. And right now, Gale is just struggling this half.
Well, I mean, he's going for the threes. It's not working, so he tries to go to the paint, and the defense is just smothering him. And that's the problem. When you don't have a three game right now going, you're going to have problems attacking the post because the defense is just going to let you take free threes. It's going to be a transition play there that works out best for them. But and there we go, a big alley-oop to Clemens, this time not missing on the pass.
Clemens doing everything he can. 14 points in the paint out of his 16 points. Really becoming a huge factor there for the Queens as they're now up by 5 once again. Murphy is trying to find somebody open. Here comes Gale. Gale not having a really good half this time, but instead goes for the three. And again, in and out as Iverson gets the rebound. Yeah, it's really right now, it just seems like that this team is just struggling beyond the arc, and the Queens are just taking advantage for every single one. And just like that, the Pride is up by 7. The crowd's going insane so far here in Queens.
Yeah, and again, it's been those threes. They've taken threes, and they just haven't worked. And, ooh, a turnover there. Volkov trying to battle his way to the post, slips out of bounds.
Yeah, and this, once again, is becoming a really, really big issue for the Cards is their foul trouble. And that's going to be something that they have to do better of, because right now this sloppy play is really costing them this game as Clemens is trying to look into the paint, but instead gets pushes back and passes over to Anari, who was wide open in the lane, and Morrison has no choice but to foul. So Iverson, well, Anari will have to go on the line for 2, excuse me.
Yeah, and that was, I think, a bit of a frustration foul there. I mean, obviously, Anari had a pretty clean look at the basket, so it had to be a bit of a harder foul to prevent an easy bucket. But still, you have to feel like the Vegas Wildcards right now are, not happy with the way this game has suddenly turned in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, 100%. Because right now, when it comes to Vegas is really showing their frustrations of how this game has gone for them. They really didn't expect to be in this situation, but the Queens are taking advantage of all the mistakes that Vegas is doing. And this is a really good example of what you really should expect once we get into the playoffs. This is not something that you need to expect from any team that is in contention to not take advantage of and to make some mistakes. So Vegas really needs to find a way to clean things up as Gale once again goes for 3, but it has just not been his shot. But Robbins able to clean things up to cut the deficit down to 6.
Yeah, unless it's 7 minutes left to go, you almost feel like at this point, 6-point game is not a huge deficit, but when you just can't buy a bucket, it seems, that is a huge margin to overcome, and they need to figure out what they're going to do going forward. And obviously, I think Robbins has been their steadiest fur from the paint.
Oh,
It's a great
and
screen there.
great screen. I'm not really sure what Robbins was doing to try and plug things up, as she wasn't able to really do much there for that possession, just letting the defender go on by with little to no help on the other side. But now, right now, Morrison trying to find a way to get into the paint, going for that tough two, and it does go down, and he's calling for the foul, but she's not going to get it.
Well, and right there, the Queen's Pride, 15 points have outscored the Las Vegas bench. The bench for the Vegas Pride, I'm merging the two. The Vegas Wildcards has not stepped up here tonight, and that's been the game changer, I feel like. The starters for the Wildcards have been better than the Pride.
Yeah, for sure. But right now, we're going to see Nikolov laying it up and in, and that's going to be something to look over, as Nikolov is able to cut the deficit down to 4. So, of course, as we were saying, the issues, Vegas is now slowly climbing back into this one, as they're only down by 4 points. We'll see how the Queens respond to try and calm them down a little bit.
Well, it's obviously they're going to go to Iverson or they're big, but no, big block there. And Vegas, Queens, you might need to call a timeout here. I think they're on fire, and no. Ooh, 5th foul for Iverson. It's a big one.
Yeah, that's a really big one right there. With only 5 minutes left of the game, Iverson with his 5th foul. That's a really big one there for Vegas, as not only have the chance to cut the deficit to possibly down to 1 possession, they could be able to get one of their important pieces fouled out if Iverson gets another one within these next couple of minutes. So you got to imagine, if he stays in, they're going to attack him all night for the rest of this quarter.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, at this point, Queens can't afford to bench him. You just ride or die at this point. And obviously, Jason has had a good night tonight, so I'm not necessarily questioning who would step up and step in should he foul out. But Iverson is just a bigger threat in terms of the defensive end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Iverson has had plenty of blocks, as the Pride does end up having a quick timeout there to try and get a game plan, because I'm sure that once they call the timeout, it's going to be mainly about, again, seeing what they can do to try and foul out Iverson if he does get benched after this timeout.
There's no way they're going to bench him. 5 minutes left to go. Well, you can't save him anymore. If this was the 4th quarter, yeah, they'd have to sit out. But, I mean, it's going to be tough to say. And obviously a 2-point game here, especially if it was, a 7-8 point game, maybe you avoid letting him foul out for a minute or two. But it's too close to call.
Yeah, it's going to be very risky play for Vegas to pretty much leave him in. It's kind of a dang if you do, dang if you don't situation for Vegas. But if they do keep him in, you got to imagine that the Queens will do nothing but drive into the paint and drive constantly to see if they can get some kind of, to try and foul Iverson out. Because Iverson has been one of their biggest hurdles to get over, to try and get this game to over to their favor.
Yeah, and even if they've held the lead, they've pretty much given it up time and time again. So it really got to come down to who makes that last second push there at the end.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. And really, it's going to become interesting to see what these two teams are going to do, how big of an opportunity for them to take into the paint when it comes to these two. I'm just very curious to see what Vegas has to do to try and avoid this loss. And I think the big key right now is to really push Iverson to his limit and get him to foul. And so far, Inari does have the back to Azora. Azora going for a 3, and it is going to go down easy. And now
what a time to hit one.
That's the perfect time to hit one with less than 5 minutes left. Now it's up to a 2-possession game. And so Vegas needs to find some kind of situation to get their team back on track. As we get a nice little screen. And we get a nice dish over to Robbins, and Ryan lays it up and in. So they're not only down by 3.
Yeah, and you saw Iverson there was really hesitant to try and go for that block. You know, it would have been an easy opportunity to get fouled out. Oh, they're going to call it on Clemens this time. An illegal screen.
Honestly, even though it's not the thing that you want to do, it's kind of the better case scenario. If it was Iverson, then I would have been, oh no, that's not.
Oh no, the fans would be rioting right now if Iverson fouled out on that, and Gale, thankfully for the Queens, missed that 3 that could have tied it up there. After that turnover, gonna stay a 3-point game though.
Yeah, Gale, really honestly at this point, you'd want Gale to take those 3s. He hasn't really hit one since the first half of this game, and we get a quick rebound there for Vegas, and Vegas has a chance to once again extend this lead. And they try to pass over to the paint, but it's not going to be good. And Iverson stopped that in its tracks. Anari tries to hand it over, but it hits a defender, and Gale ends up with the board.
Yeah, that was Clemens was wide open behind the defenders. If that ball made it through, it would have been an easy opportunity for the Cheetah.
And Nikolov might have an opportunity to try and draw a foul, and he does that, and Iverson has now officially fouled out, and he is furious.
Oh yeah, extremely pissed, and gonna have to go to the bench now, but the team is up by 3.
Yeah, and now they're up by 3, but now for the next 3.5 minutes, they're gonna be out of their best big man, and oh, what a huge break there for Vegas, as they able to draw the foul on Iverson as the first one is made.
Yeah, and it's going to be their up to their rookie Clemens to really hold down the post, it seems like, here in the final minutes of this game, and LVG a chance to get it back within 1 here.
Yeah, Nikolov going for the second one, and he is able to get that second one down. So now the Queens are only up by 1, 88-87. Iverson fouled out of the game fully. We'll see how the Pride responds. And right now we get another quick
another
there on Clemens. Oh my goodness.
That's 3 illegal screens tonight, 2 of them by Clemens, and I think that's is that a personal foul? Because that'd be Clemens' 5th, I think.
I don't think they count it as a 5th personal foul, but still, that's a huge loss. And that is Clemens'
there's his 5th
personal. Oh no!
And now Clemens is furious.
In under 30 seconds, Iverson fouled out. Clemens fouled twice. 5th foul, and really, if Clemens ends up getting fouled out here, their front court's going to get very paper thin really quickly.
Yeah, LVG, their plan seems to finally be coming to fruition here. It took a full 4 quarters, but both of Queen's big starters, one out, one away from being out, with 180 seconds left to go. That is a long time to have that target on your back.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that the Queens are going to have to try and adapt to, as the second one does get made. Vegas has the lead, up by 1. This is going to be interesting to see how this goes, because right now their big thing is to probably focus on Clemens again, see if they can get a charge out of him, but instead he dishes over to Anari.
Anything over the back, literally anything right now could get him out of this game, so they're probably going to avoid.
Great block there by Robbins. Morrison going for the mid-ranger, and it is good. Now the Pride has to call timeout, as the Cards are on a 16-5 run in the past 3 minutes, and the crowd has just gone dead silent since this run.
Yeah, there's nothing really to cheer for. I mean, turnovers have been the problem here. And it's like, come on, Queen's Pride, you got to hold on to the ball. And right now, the amount of pressure that they're putting on this starting roster, they've got their rookie in foul trouble. They've lost their main big man. They're struggling to get a basket in the last 3 minutes. I almost see maybe substitute some players and maybe bring Misha Maxwell back on the floor, see if she can be a spark plug again.
Yeah, right now, offensively, the Queens really, really need to find a way to buy a basket because if they ended up fouling out Clemens as well, this is going to be constant drives from Vegas because now the entire paint is going to be like open up very quickly, very easily for them. And it's going to be a challenge for them to try and contain Vegas in that front because the paint has really been the main scoring um, option for both teams, but especially for Vegas as it's been a struggle to find to buy a basket beyond the arc.
Yeah, and down by 3. I mean, we saw Tinma hit a 3 earlier. Maybe could sneak another one in, but you can't rely on that here tonight. We have not seen consistency, and we do see Swimmer coming in. Maybe
Yeah,
trying
right
to.
there. Here comes Clemens. Clemens not wanting to go drive too quickly, considering the situation. Clemens going for a good mid-ranger, not even gonna dump, but Clemens does get the rebound, and he lays it up and in. So he does cut the deficit down to 1.
Yeah, fell down to the court too. Maybe trying to overplay some contact, hoping for a and one opportunity, but no foul called against him on
Yeah,
the
and
shot.
we get another timeout there for Vegas as well, trying to see if they can get another game plan since they do have the possession now. And I'm sure they need to find some way to get an open lane to force Clemens to help and try and draw a foul on him because right now, obviously, when you're in foul trouble defensively, you have to do everything you can to reserve yourself from doing that much contact. So either you're going to get an easy 2-pointer from him or you're going to foul him out. It's a win-win situation if you're a Cards fan.
Yeah, and it's gonna be tough though. I mean, you see there they're going to Nikolai,
Ooh,
trying to go into the paint.
yeah, that's something that they decided to back off in this one. Robbins got the size advantage, getting double team. That's up to Murphy. Murphy for 3, and it's good.
Oh, what a time to hit a 3 for LVG. They were so quiet for so long from out there, and it's gonna be Murphy to put them up by 4 now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge, huge basket here as with less than 2 minutes, they're up by 4. They need to get a quick stop here. And right now, Jerome trying to find something at Azora, who has done pretty good effort here as Azora was for a long too, but it's going to be in and out. And now Vegas is trying to put this away. They try to go for a quick drop into the paint, and it is not going to go down this time as Azora gets the rebound. So right now, Queens still have a chance with only about a minute left in the end of regulation. They need to get this basket, and it's not going to be good there for Anari. So now Vegas trying to get the quick drive. Gale lays it up, and it's good.
Yeah, that was a beautiful spin move from Inari on the previous possession, but not able to convert. And now the problem is, it's a 3-point contest. They're not going to go for it. They're going to try and go for 2, and just like that, that's over. And now the double problem. Clemens can't get anywhere near them on the inbound because he can't afford to be the sixth foul just to get the free throw opportunities up.
Yeah. That was a foul to give there for the Queens. And right now we get a long dish over to the other side as Nikolov gets the rock. Hands it up to King. King for the mid-ranger. And it's not going to be good this time. So right now, the Pride needs some kind of miracle as Jerome hands it over to Anari. Anari trying to get the quick drive. Gets by a defender. And it's not going to be good. And that's going to be all she wrote as Anari does get the quick foul on Gale as Gale goes for the final 2.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, a 6-point game, 2 possessions. Even if missed both free throws, that's 2 threes that need to be made, and that would be such a turnaround from what we've seen in the first half. And honestly, it would have to be off of a turnover for the second. But there we go. That is the last nail in the casket here, as both teams are subbing out the rest of their starters. Really, don't want any injuries here. With
Yeah,
the last,
especially for the wild cards as they are trying to uh keep their position in the playoffs. trying to make sure that their players are well rested, as we are um, in the playoff hunt mode for a majority of these teams. As the second one does get made, and the Pride does take their final time out for the game.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you got a little over 2 months left to go. You got March and April still to play. Plenty of games still, but as you enter the second half of not even really the second half, this is more like the final third of the season. You can't afford to see any opportunities slip by, and you definitely don't want any injuries to possibly cause a late collapse, especially with how tight both conferences have been.
Yeah, 110%. But going over to teams like the Queens, who are basically not really in the conversation, you got to really give credit where credit is due for the hard battle that the Pride has made within this game. Uh, really having the opportunity to use their bigs, Iverson and Clemens played their guts out tonight, even with the foul trouble.
Yeah, and it may have been a different game if the fouls hadn't slipped in so much there. It could have been gone the other way quite easily here, and Swimmer's going to try and keep the game going, and they need a three, and that three is going to be sent from way deep, and it's not even going to have a good chance. And then just like that, the
Yeah,
Queens will unfortunately fall here at home, 98-90.
yeah, everybody's just pretty much just chilling out for now, and that's how it's gonna end. Vegas with the W here, and Vegas really kind of escaping with the W in this round. There was some scary moments, but they were able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, it really did not look like they had their head in the game for quite a while there, but then the fourth quarter they turned it on, and you have to give some kudos for having the toughness to withstand some bad runs and then to still come back and win the game in the end. And for the Queen's Pride, they definitely pushed and had some opportunities there that they just let slip through their paws, and they're gonna have to reflect on that, even if they may be a long shot for the playoffs at this point. Going forward, how they're going to develop and grow as a team.
Yeah, man. And looking over to the Vegas side, even though that this was a victory and every win is a good win, um, you hold your team accountable, because honestly, a lot of people would expect this to be um Vegas controlling the entirety of the game all day every day, but it's just a lot of sloppy play on both ends, especially when it comes to the unforced turnovers, when it comes to uh, charges that shouldn't be called, the offensive 3-second violation, things of that nature that cannot happen, especially if you're expected to be a playoff team, because in the playoffs you don't expect to see those mistakes often.
Oh yeah. I mean, the end of the day, you know, you can lose to a team. A team can have a good day. You can even have a bad day. It's that you can, if you lose but you played smart, that's just bad luck going your way. But tonight's game was definitely one of those. You may have walked away with the victory, but there were many things that, in a different circumstance, would have been the cost of the game. And if you do this in a game seven in the playoffs, you can't afford to have these kind of sloppy moments.
Yeah, because honestly, if you're in that situation and you make those kind of mistakes, you're not going to win. That's just point blank, period. You cannot afford to make those kind of costly mistakes or not take advantage of the mistakes the other team has made, because there's plenty of mistakes that the Pride has made that the Cards were not able to capitalize. So there's a lot of things that the Cards need to learn from this game, because even though they did get the W, there's certainly some things that needs to be talked about when it comes to tightening up and really playing some smart, clean basketball. Because if they don't do that, you probably are not going to expect them to make a run.
No, and I mean the competition's only going to get tougher once they move to the playoffs. I mean you can't in a 7 game series potentially. Your focus, if it starts slipping in game 5, game 6, game 7, that's how you let other teams come back and how you fall short of your goals. And LVG really is obviously they loss of Tyler Conley has had an impact on their prospects, but they're still looking like a very solid team, a team that's a contender. They can't afford to give up that opportunity another year to try and build for next year. They need to fight for this year.
Yeah, 100%. And especially the case considering the fact that the Western Conference is so stacked between all of these teams. Like, you can't afford to play this way, especially with how even a lot of these teams are in the Western Conference. So if you are the Cards, you're gonna have to do a little bit of nitpicking, um, regardless of this win. Because yes, the wins definitely helps you on keeping you high up in the standings. It does help you get an opportunity to to get the win overall, but still the big thing is to be able to not make those very, very costly unforced errors, because that is something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, and I mean it's gonna have to be. There's gonna be a lot of talk about even with the win here tonight. It's not. I don't think practice is gonna be a light one next. They're gonna have real talk about some of these decision making plays. Some of the sloppiness you were talking about and trying to clean that up because you can't really afford to let that continue as the season progresses and heads into the playoffs.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we had a really, really fun game tonight. I'm very happy we got a chance to go ahead and go over this. This was certainly a game that wasn't expected to go as crazy as it has, but I'm very happy that we got a chance to see these two teams go at it, and both teams' futures looks pretty bright.
And thank you all for tuning in once again. I was Ryan Eastman. That was Marcus Baylor. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.